Conclusion: the post-2008 International Monetary System. This paper has set out to develop a systematic credit money perspective on the contemporary IMS. In contrast to the prevalent notion that today's IMS is a non-system and lacks the ability to provide genuine international liquidity, the paper started with the conceptual argument, rooted in the money view framework, that the actual core for international credit money creation in the IMS is the offshore dollar realm. This is the place where the international liquidity necessary for the age of financial globalization can be created out of thin air while using the US dollar as the unit of account outside the US monetary jurisdiction. Based on this conceptual idea, Section 3 has mapped the setup of the offshore dollar realm and sketched its institutional development since the 1950s. The offshore dollar realm first became occupied by private credit money firms, with Eurodollars developing in the 1950s. Shadow money forms such as overnight repos, NMF shares, and ABCPs in 1970s, and FX swap in the 1980s. Since the 2007-2009 financial crisis, also public credit money occupies the offshore dollar realm, which has created the non-US central banks balance sheet via the unlimited C6 swap lines. Today, therefore, the offshore dollar realm fully mirrors the domestic US monetary system as a public-private hybrid. It is made up of the money-like IOUs of central banks, commercial banks, and shadow banks. Figure 27 synthesizes this view and presents an institutionalist take on the current setup of today's IMS. Okay, so this is figure 27, setup of today's international monetary system, empirically. And basically there is 3 columns where the first one is onshore dollar realm and the second one is offshore dollar realm. The third one is other monetary asset. And we can see that there is this international credit money supply, which is no other than offshore dollar realm, and the non-US central bank IOU can create the Eurodollar CB deposit since 2008. With its take on how offshore dollar creation emerged historically, the paper has adopted a functionalist perspective on monetary transformation, which comes along with a political economic interpretation of the money view framework. From this functionalist point of view, new forms of private credit money develop in conjunction with the dissemination of the monetary system as a self-referential network of expanding yet unstable debt claim. The emergence of offshore commercial bank and shadow bank IOU is an expression of how profit-driven private financial institutions tap loopholes to further advance their business opportunities and via financial innovation contributed to an expansion of the monetary system. The innovations in the market for offshore US dollar deposit were redefinitions of pre-existing structure. The Eurodollar market in its early form was built upon the mechanism of the 19th century London bill market. First, the City Treasury Bank of England Nexus used to re-establish London as a financial center after the Second World War. From the 1970s onward, large American banks appropriated the structures in London and turned the Eurodollar market effectively into an offshore version of the New York money market to circumvent US onshore restriction. Similarly, the emergence of shadow money exploited regulatory loopholes to circumvent US banking regulation that had resulted from the New Deal banking reform. Repos, for example, had existed since the 1950s, if not since the 19th century. Via the three-party repo market, they were turned into systematic deposit substitutes from the 1970s onward. Complementary to its expansionary tendency, it is a necessity deeply ingrained in the logic of the credit money system that the expansion of the debt network has to come to a halt at some point and start reverting itself. This happened in the 2007-2009 financial crisis, the Minsky moment in which a run on USD-denominated onshore shadow money as well as the offshore dollar realm emerged. In this case, the monetary system implosion could only be avoided by an external intervention by public institutions to preserve the system. technocratic elites, in this case via the Federal Reserve, had to react to the run on shadow money and the euro-dollar market as issue-specific problem framed in a highly technical way. They established the emergency swap lines driven by functional necessities in response to the endogenous unfolding of the disintegration of the credit money system. Those emergency swap lines used pre-existing swap lines as their basis, which had been in place since the Bretton Woods era, as a means of influencing the balance of payment. In the aftermath of the crisis, the Fed consolidated and streamlined the structure set up via the immediate crisis intervention by developing the C6 swap lines, thus creating the post-crisis IMS as depicted in Figure 26. Figure 28, taken from Borio, represents a summarizing empirical view on how the offshore realm developed in quantitative terms from 2000 to 2016. So this is the Figure 28, dollar funding of non-US bank, amounts outstanding in trillion US dollar. As we can see, the biggest contribution coming from non-bank depot outside US. On the second one is international bonds. This is a dollar funding of non-US banks. The conceptual and empirical argument of this paper may provide the starting point for further research. Three aspects stand out in particular. First, the conceptualization of FX swap as offshore shadow money is a contribution that connects the up and coming debate on FX swap, which for a long time have been off the radar of academics. With the literature on shadow money, the argument that FX swap represent a form of shadow money or are on the way towards developing into a shadow money form is based on consideration in particular of Borio and Posar. It sharpens their position and put it in the context of a conceptual discussion about the shape of the IMS. At the same time, the argument requires further scrutiny, both from a conceptual and empirical point of view. Second, the functionalist theory of the monetary system as a self-referential network of expanding yet unstable debt claim may be seized by other research trends such as system science. The credit money system, with its ability to create money out of thin air, may be said to correspond to the logic of an autopoietic system, and can thus be used as a case study to analyze the behavior of complex adaptive systems. In its expansionary phase, the credit money system, understood from a money view perspective, exploits regulatory loopholes via financial innovation, taps new legal space onshore and offshore, and brings forth new form of private credit money. Once the expansionary phase comes to an end, a contractionary sets in the form of a crisis, and the system must potentially be stabilized and backstopped through the intervention of public authorities. In the 2007-2009 financial crisis, this occurred domestically for shadow money with the intervention by the Fed and the Treasury, as well as internationally. As depicted in section 3.3 of this paper, via the Fed's emergency swap lines, the switch from the expansionary to the contractionary state of the system can be thought of as the persistent prevalence of systemic risk, which in the case of the IMS even extends to global dimension. Rand provide a starting point for the study of global systemic risk, which may potentially be merged with the conceptual ideas of the money view. Third, the depiction of the contemporary setup of the IMS with a focus on offshore dollar creation provides the starting point for more policy-oriented work that seeks to evaluate the future of the IMS. This has been a recurring term in IPE and international economics, with various positions repeatedly being brought forth. However, none of these positions has so far taken into account the outstanding role of offshore dollar creation. If we follow the strand of thinking proposed in this paper, which argues that the offshore dollar realm is the main source of credit money creation in the IMS, we may ask, what will be the future of offshore dollar creation? To deal with this question, Murrow, Rini, and Haas in a IASS discussion paper complementary to this one, developed 4 scenarios about what the IMS could look like by 2040, using the present post-2008 setup as its starting point. In the continued dollar hegemony scenario, we depict the sustained dominance of private international money creation via offshore dollars within the Pax Americana. In the competing monetary bloc scenario, we envision the US and the EU and China as three gravitational centers with private international money creation in the bloc's peripheries via offshore dollars, offshore euros, and offshore renminbi, respectively. In the International Monetary Federation scenario, we sketch a situation in which countries have created a strong publicly organized IMS, comprising a multilateral framework of one international and several regional clearing unions based upon Keynes' idea for an international clearing union. Finally, with the scenario of an international monetary anarchy, we portray what an actual non-system could look like in a post-crisis situation with a substantial breakdown of public and private international monetary cooperation and creation.